Imagine waking up in the darkness and realizing the fire is gone, not low, not dying. Gone. Outside your shelter. Something is moving through the trees. You cannot see it, but you can hear branches snapping, slow footsteps pressing into wet ground, and the occasional sound of something breathing. Your child is asleep beside you. Your food is running out. Your spear is only a sharpened stick, and whatever is outside may be stronger, faster, and better armed than you will ever be. Now imagine this is not one terrifying night. Imagine this is your normal life. For ancient humans, survival was not a battle against one single monster. It was a constant negotiation with a world that could kill you through hunger, cold, infection, injury, predators, or simply one mistake at the wrong moment. But among all these threats, one may have been more terrifying than the others, because it did something no predator could do. It could follow you everywhere. It was the environment itself. A modern human can walk outside during a storm, get into a heated car, buy food, call a doctor, and return to a warm house within minutes. An ancient human had none of those options. If the temperature dropped, there was no thermostat. If food disappeared, there was no grocery store. If a wound became infected, there was no emergency room waiting nearby. And if your group made the wrong decision, there might be no second chance. That changes the meaning of danger. A lion is terrifying because you can imagine it attacking you. But ancient humans face something far more complicated. A world where every basic requirement of life had to be earned. Water had to be found. Food had to be tracked. Shelter had to be built. Fire had to be protected. And every one of those tasks carried its own risk. Consider hunger. You might picture ancient humans hunting enormous animals, charging across open plains with spears. But hunting was only one part of the problem. Finding prey did not guarantee success. You could spend hours following tracks and return with nothing. You could injure an animal without killing it. You could lose the trail. You could exhaust yourself chasing food that was faster than you, and failure had consequences. Your body could survive days without food, but your ability to hunt would decline as your energy disappeared. That creates a brutal loop. The hungrier you became, the harder successful hunting became. And the harder hunting became, the hungrier you became. But hunger was not always the most immediate threat. Cold could kill much faster. Imagine being soaked after a storm, standing in darkness, with no waterproof jacket, no insulated sleeping bag, and no dry building waiting for you. Your body is producing heat, but the environment is stealing it away. Your first priority is no longer finding food. It is staying warm until morning. And that makes fire something much more important than a source of comfort. Fire becomes survival infrastructure. It gives you warmth. It provides light. It helps cook food. It can discourage some predators. It gives a group a place to gather. And once the fire is gone, all of those advantages disappear together. This is why ancient humans had to become obsessed with controlling fire. The challenge was not simply creating a flame. It was preserving one when conditions were terrible. Wet fuel, wind, rain, and darkness could turn a tiny mistake into a serious problem. A dying ember might be more valuable than a modern person realizes, because starting another fire was not as simple as reaching for a lighter. So imagine sitting beside that fire for hours, feeding it carefully, shielding it from wind, protecting dry material from rain, while everyone around you depends on your success. You are not relaxing. You are keeping the group alive. But even if you solve the problem of cold, there is another threat waiting: infection. A small cut that would barely interrupt your day-to-day could become something far more serious without modern medicine. There were no antibiotics waiting in a cabinet, no sterile operating rooms, no easy way to diagnose what was happening inside your body. A twisted ankle could be dangerous because it could stop you from traveling. A broken bone could change your ability to hunt. A deep wound could make you dependent on everyone else. And dependence itself could become dangerous when food was scarce. This is where ancient human survival becomes truly unsettling. The greatest threat may not have been the thing that attacked you. It may have been the thing that made you unable to respond when something else attacked. An injured hunter could not hunt. A sick mother could struggle to gather food. A weakened child needed protection. And a group already struggling to survive had to spend precious resources caring for people who could no longer contribute normally. Yet ancient humans did something remarkable in response. They cooperated. They shared food. They protected vulnerable members. They carried injured people. They passed knowledge from one generation to another. And that may have been the difference between a dangerous world and an impossible one. Because a single human standing alone against the prehistoric environment was frighteningly vulnerable. A group was different. A group could watch while others slept. A group could maintain the fire. A group could hunt together. A group could remember where water was found. A group could recognize dangerous plants. A group could warn children about predators before those children ever saw one. Knowledge became another survival tool. And this is where the story becomes much darker. Because the most terrifying thing ancient humans had to survive may not have been a predator, a storm, or starvation. It may have been uncertainty. They did not know when the next drought would come. They did not know whether the herd would return. Survival depended on choosing which danger to face, because avoiding one could lead directly into another. And uncertainty had no face. You could not scare it away. You could not stab it with a spear. You could only prepare for it. That is why ancient humans became so remarkably adaptable. They learned to move when conditions changed, store what they could, follow animals across enormous distances, and use every part of the landscape around them. The terrifying truth is that survival was never guaranteed. Every morning was another calculation. Where is the water? Where are the animals? Is the weather changing? Is that sound a predator? Can we afford to stay here? And if the answer was wrong, the consequences could be permanent. Yet somehow, through thousands of generations, humans kept making those decisions. They survived not because the ancient world became safer, but because humans became better at reading it. They learned to recognize patterns hidden inside storms, seasons, animal tracks, landscapes, and even the behavior of other people. The most terrifying thing they had to survive was therefore not one creature. It was a world where everything mattered, and where one mistake could become your last. And perhaps that is the most frightening part of all. Ancient humans did not conquer a safe world. They learned how to survive an unforgiving one.